Let's talk about the forgotten stepchild of Cupertino. While the tech world endlessly obsesses over the titanium grades of our smartphones or the microscopic bezel reductions on our tablets, the central hub of our living room has been sitting quietly under the television, gathering dust. Reminds me of the days when the original TiVo felt like alien technology. We set it up, marveled at the magic of pausing live television, and then entirely took the hardware for granted. But here we are in 2026, and according to reliable sources, Apple's prolonged era of set-top amnesia is finally coming to a close this summer. We are looking at a fundamentally redesigned Apple TV, and for those of us who actually care about home theater fidelity and invest in hardware that doesn't become obsolete in 12 months, this is a conversation worth having. Let's briefly establish where we currently stand. The Apple TV we have right now is essentially an antique in silicon years. It hasn't seen a meaningful hardware revision in roughly 4 years. It is still chugging along on the A15 Bionic, the exact same processor that was sitting in our pockets back during the iPhone 13 era. Now, I will be the first to admit that the A15 is still a shockingly capable piece of silicon for simply streaming a 4K movie on a Friday night. It gets the job done without breaking a sweat. But in the current technological landscape, merely getting the job done is no longer enough for Apple, especially when the company is betting the entire farm on artificial intelligence. The industry has shifted. A device that acts as a dumb pipe for streaming video is no longer sufficient when it's supposed to be the central nervous system of your smart home. So what exactly is forcing Apple's hand this year? Let's separate the real leaks from the noise. This impending upgrade is not about pushing sharper pixels, achieving infinitesimally faster menu navigation, or completely reinventing how we watch television. It is entirely about Apple Intelligence. Right now, your existing Apple TV is effectively a digital brick when it comes to localized, on-device AI processing. It simply lacks the neural engine muscle and the required RAM footprint to handle complex machine learning tasks. Apple wants their AI integrated into every corner of your daily life. Having a flagship home device that has to ping a cloud server for every complex query is a glaring ecosystem failure. To rectify this, the upcoming Apple TV is reportedly being armed with the A17 Pro chip, paired with a mandatory 8 GB of RAM. This is the exact same silicon architecture currently driving the iPad mini. What's interesting here is the specific internal configuration. We are looking at a robust 6-core CPU but a slightly bin 4-core GPU. But let's be clear, the graphics processor isn't the star of the show here. The real hero is the advanced neural engine. This hardware bump is the golden ticket that allows the Apple TV to run tvOS 20 with full native Apple Intelligence capabilities. The timeline for this launch makes perfect logistical sense. WWDC 2026 is shaping up to be a massive event for Apple Intelligence, particularly regarding home integration and a vastly overhauled context-aware Siri. If Apple intends to release developer betas for a hyper-intelligent tvOS in June, software developers actually need physical hardware capable of running it before the public rollout in September. The math is simple and undeniable. A new Apple TV must launch by early summer. Now let's look at the physical hardware changes, because this could actually matter because of basic thermal dynamics. For well over a decade, the Apple TV has been a little black plastic puck, but Apple is aggressively transitioning toward premium recycled metals across their entire product portfolio. A plastic set-top box in 2026 feels decidedly un-Apple and frankly a bit cheap. The latest leaks strongly indicate a complete redesign, moving away from plastic to sleek aluminum or potentially stainless steel enclosure. For those of us who hide our gear away in ventilated AV racks, aesthetics might not seem crucial. However, an aluminum chassis acts as a giant, highly efficient heatsink. If you're putting a desktop-class A17 Pro chip under the television and asking it to constantly run localized AI models or heavy gaming workloads, a plastic shell is going to cause severe thermal throttling. Metal solves that engineering headache. We are currently expecting 2 refined color options, a traditional understated space gray and a much deeper, stealthy matte black. Moving to the back of the box, we have the ports. This is where home theater enthusiasts should actually pay attention. For years, users have begged for proper, uncompromised audio integration, and it seems the wait is over. Rumors point to true HDMI audio pass-through finally making an appearance. If you have spent thousands of dollars on a dedicated AV receiver or a meticulously calibrated Dolby Atmos surround sound setup, you know the absolute frustration of relying on the Apple TV's internal software decoding. Passing that raw, untouched audio signal directly to your receiver to let your high-end gear do the heavy lifting is a massive win for audio purists. Alongside this, we expect comprehensive support for the absolute latest Dolby Vision profiles and uncompressed lossless audio streaming. As for the SKU lineup, Apple will likely maintain their familiar 2-tier strategy. The base model will strictly be Wi-Fi only, featuring a modest amount of solid-state storage. But for anyone who actually cares about streaming high bitrate 4K HDR without the dread of buffering, the premium tier remains the only logical choice. It will offer double the storage capacity and, crucially, retain that gigabit Ethernet port. When you're pushing massive amounts of data across a network, hardwiring is and always will be king. Let's address the persistent rumors regarding gaming. With the A17 Pro onboard, the Apple TV inherits hardware-accelerated ray tracing and Metal FX2 upscaling technologies. On paper, this means the little box under your TV can technically run AAA console titles. Think Resident Evil Village or the latest Assassin's Creed iOS ports. Apple is clearly positioning this hardware to breathe new life into their Apple Arcade subscription, framing the device as a semi-competent micro-console for the living room. But as experienced buyers, let's manage our expectations. While it is undeniably impressive that a fanless box this small can run these massive titles, do not expect a native 4K, 120 frame per second gaming utopia. You are realistically looking at 30 frames per second, heavily reliant on the upscaling jiggery-pokery of Metal FX2 and frame generation to make it look presentable on a 65-inch OLED screen. It is a nice value add for casual sessions, but those of us who already own a PlayStation 5, an Xbox Series X, or a dedicated gaming PC are certainly not going to be unplugging them anytime soon. Taking a step back and looking at the broader picture, what is actually believable here and what is just noise? The architectural shift to the A17 Pro and 8GB of RAM is practically guaranteed at this point. Apple has confidently backed themselves into a corner with their aggressive AI ambitions across the board. They simply cannot afford to have a major ecosystem hub, the device that controls your smart home, your cameras, and your media, incapable of participating in the Apple Intelligence era. The transition to a metal chassis also tracks perfectly with their current manufacturing trends and the thermal realities of high-performance silicon. The marketing fluff, however, will undoubtedly center around gaming. Apple has desperately tried to make the Apple TV a primary gaming destination for a decade, and it has consistently fallen flat. While the A17 Pro is a formidable chip, serious gamers demand dedicated controllers, uncompromised frame rates, and a much broader library than what premium iOS ports can currently offer. The real, tangible value of this upgrade isn't playing a watered-down version of a console game. The value lies in having a profoundly snappy, intelligent interface that integrates flawlessly with your smart home, processes your voice commands instantly without sending them to a server, and feeds pure, unadulterated audio to your home theater equipment without breaking a sweat. To wrap things up, the summer 2026 Apple TV is not a frivolous, iterative upgrade. It is a necessary architectural leap to bring the living room firmly into the AI era. We are looking at a much more premium metal design, the sheer processing power of an iPad Pro from just a few years ago, proper audio pass-through to satisfy the audiophiles, and the dedicated brainpower to actually run Apple Intelligence securely within your own home. It is a significant piece of kit for anyone looking to genuinely future-proof their entertainment and smart home setup. I'm very curious to hear where you all stand on this impending release. Are the localized AI features and the promise of raw audio pass-through enough to make you finally retire your current model? Or are you holding out until your old plastic puck completely dies on you? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. If you appreciate tech breakdowns that skip the forced hype and stick to the actual facts and implications, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for future updates. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.